Hi everyone, and welcome to the Gemini August 2021 self-connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Welcome. So this is one of 3 connection readings I complete each month for each sign. The first reading is the self-connection reading, which is all about focusing awareness and bringing it back to self. So connecting you with your unique, internal, authentic self. The second reading is a spiritual connection reading where we take a look at connecting that unique, internal, authentic self with your external environment. And then we have the love connection reading, which is taking a look at how you connect your internal, unique, authentic self with the energy of love and the unique, internal, authentic selves of others. That one's a little bit more of a free-form reading where I also take a look at any elements of romantic love and just general messages that come through. All right, my Geminis. So, it was interesting. As I was getting into your energy, an image came to mind of an orange, like the fruit. And I had this image of it, kind of being peeled open and really showing the soft, juicy, but highly vulnerable center. So there is this quality, I think, too, right now with what you're connecting with. This energy of kind of peeling away this tough, pithy exterior and getting down to the sweet juices almost. Hopefully that doesn't gross anybody out. of really what makes you, that beautiful fruit, the actual fruit part that is, I'm getting this, I'm just hearing this, take it as it is, that you're getting down to the delicious quality of who you are, and that you're getting in touch with that you're starting to see your own beauty. You're starting to see what makes you appealing and delicious to others, and you're not afraid. You're starting to push aside the fear of that vulnerability, of not having that exterior skin, that thick skin that you've maybe been wearing for quite some time, and you're breaking that down. All right, so I just had to share that because it was interesting. A very clear visual that came through. Now I'm going to basically start to pull cards for different aspects of awareness. So I utilize the Triad of Engagement in all of my readings, which it's a coaching tool that I've developed that utilizes the principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and shows how if you utilize them in their highest specific ways, that you can help bring awareness to not only your unique, internal, authentic self, but how best to connect and engage that with your external environment to be able to see place and purpose and find emotional fulfillment and meaning. All right, so we're going to start with pulling a Power of Surrender card. This is going to be tapping into the energy of curiosity. And with curiosity, we are directing the spotlight of openness and receptivity and optimism towards ourselves in a way where, I really focus on curiosity as the opening principle because I've found with myself personally first, I experienced this, but now I also teach it and bring awareness to it in others, is that curiosity is where we start to lose disconnection with ourselves first, and then with ourself and connecting to our external environment and connecting authentically with other people as well. And why is that? Well, that's because we, instead of utilizing curiosity in its highest and most powerful form, which is allowing us to be ready to tap into the magic of life, the awe and wonder of constantly being surprised, because we know that we can never know everything, so we stay curious and we stay open and we stay receptive. We instead change that, and I'm sorry guys, I just realized, hold on just a moment. Sorry, I just realized I had not put in my microphone. So the sound quality will be a little different between these two here, but basically we instead use it as a blocking place. Instead of being open and receptive to our environment as well as to our internal environment, we become closed. And this can look like us saying, well, I already know everything about this aspect of myself, or I've already been there and done that, not going to try it again, not going to be curious as to maybe what I could change that might elicit a different response or reaction. And we end up getting stuck in just staying kind of stagnant. This is where we don't continue to grow, especially on an emotional and a spiritual level. So we tap into curiosity to open that back up, to open back up to that childlike sense of being able to learn from our environment again, being able to learn also from our, being able to also learn from our ability to turn inwards and realize we are continually unlocking new aspects of ourselves. We will never know everything about ourselves, and so this is the whole journey of being able to unlock our own magic. So I've pulled 2 cards here that came out for you guys, and we're going to build a question around this because we're dealing with curiosity, right? So it's going to involve kind of an overarching question that you're going to open the month with and kind of continue to ask yourself throughout the month as you start to focus awareness on your internal self. So the first card here that we have is surrender to receiving love and support. And it says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. And then we have surrender negative thinking. And it says, you have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say, thank you for sharing, and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. Now, Gemini, you are an air sign. You're an air sign actually ruled by Mercury, which is all about quick communication and the realm of thought. So there is this quality here to surrender to negative thinking that I can really see being applicable to many of you, because I know I have a lot of Gemini placements in my chart, and there is this quality of overthinking. I'm very familiar to that. But where overthinking can turn into negative thinking is when we get into a kind of a dangerous place. This is where we can start to go down the what if train, the negative what if train. And this is really where we kill curiosity. This is where instead of opening ourselves up to the awe and wonder of life, in playing the what if game as a child would. What if I take this out and, I mean, if you have ever been around children, then you know that children will often over-exaggerate something. They will take one little thing, like let's say they're able to convince you to, buy a cup of lemonade from them for 50 cents. And suddenly they'll come back to you and be like, well, what if I can get everybody to buy lemonade from me? How many people are in the world? And you're like, oh, I think there's about 8 billion people. Okay, so what's 8 billion times 50 cents? And suddenly they're, imagining the what if every single person in the universe bought lemonade from me. And it can literally be that extreme, but it's such a beautiful element of curiosity. And in being curious like that, as you can see, they've just learned a couple different things. They've just learned how many people are on the earth currently, and they've learned eventually, probably with your help, how to multiply 8 billion times 50 cents. And that's the beauty of curiosity. It allows us to continue to learn from our environment while at the same time tapping into this positive, optimistic sense of what if. So I think the question here for you guys, especially with also surrendering to receiving love and support, this is really, I feel like, tapping into that energy that I was seeing with the image of the orange and the orange being peeled and you kind of being able to show this vulnerable side to yourself, this sweet, vulnerable side. And there is that element of surrendering, right, to the love and support, to knowing that you can show this vulnerable side to yourself. In that here, it's like when I'm thinking of a question for you guys to ask yourself, to open yourself up to the energy of tapping in and connecting with you, is where up until this point has negative thoughts about yourself prevented you from showing the best and sweetest parts of yourself? Where have you really tried to put on either this thick exterior skin, which has blocked your ability to really receive support and love? And where has that come from a negative thought pattern? Where this can be based off of just going down the negative what if train of what if I share this part of myself and it gets hurt maybe again. Maybe in the past you've shared this part of yourself with somebody and it was ridiculed, or again led to some element of hurt and pain, and you don't want to show that again. Or where have you maybe had the negative thought process where it's limited how you're able to express yourself? And this can look like, well, I went and I graduated with this degree and I started this career path, and maybe now I don't feel like I want to continue in that career path, but if I admit to myself in a vulnerable way that I want to do something else, what if? What if I end up losing all my money? What if I get looked at differently because everybody knows I'm this, and now I'm saying I want to do something else? Or where is this stopping you perhaps from expressing yourself in some creative endeavor? This could be you wanting to start some type, you are a sign that is ruled by Mercury, which does talk to speaking and communicating, and where perhaps maybe with negative thinking you've prevented yourself from being able to speak from this vulnerable soft place, or speak to something in your life that will show this vulnerable side to yourself. So this is a good opening question. Where has negative thinking really prevented you from being open and vulnerable and being able to share some aspect of yourself? Where are you currently holding yourself back from receiving love and support? All right, so now we're going to move into pulling a spirit animal oracle card for the concept of the principle of courage. And courage is where we really tap into our place of self-empowerment. Courage is where we take the courage to make the decision, to take action from a place of authenticity. And this is a lot harder done than said. So when we think about it, oftentimes we know the action we need to take, but it's scary. And this is actually where our negative thought patterns can get in the way, where we're like, but what if I do that, then what if this happens? If I do that, then what if I get laughed at? If I do that, then what if I lose my job? If I do that, then what if my spouse doesn't see me the same anymore? But in reality, what tapping into courage does for us is it allows us to tap into faith. Tap into faith that when we express ourselves from a place of authenticity and not in a way that's detrimental to another. When I talk about taking action on our own behalf, yes, it is taking selfish action, but it's not about doing so in a way that is going to hurt another or take away from another in a calculated way. This is about simply tapping into the truest versions of yourself and being aware as you make decisions to take action if they align with you or not, if they feel authentic, if they have meaning. This is how we build meaning into everything that we do, all the little actions that we decide to take. Only we can find meaning in them, and in doing, and we have to find, or what allows us to help find meaning is by connecting to our own authenticity. So this would be, if you think about making the small little decisions every day, this would be, choosing on the way home from a long day at work where you're exhausted to either stop by a healthy fast food option and just say, you know what, today I'm exhausted. I'm just going to pick up this little bit. I'm not going to push myself to work out because I'm being authentic to myself. I'm realizing that I have low energy level, and I'm just going to, give myself that break. Instead of pushing yourself to stop by the grocery store to pick up the healthy food that then you have to take home and cook, and then you're going to force yourself to take, to maybe go to the gym or do an in-home workout because that is what you've been told. That's what you feel you have to do to be able to be worthy of love and support. You have to keep this external, this layer of orange peel between you and your soft, juicy self, and you have to keep things going. And in reality, it's more authentic to you in the moment to tap in and feel your energy level, connect on an emotional level with yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to give myself a break today. I'm feeling tired. And everybody feels tired at some point. And no, I'm not going to go down the what if train of, what if I don't work out today, and what if I actually get fast food for myself? Well, what if I gain 2 pounds? Is everybody not going to love me anymore? Is this going to totally blow my diet? No, not if you're aware of the why behind it. You're giving yourself meaning, giving meaning to your choices. This is the first step in awareness. And it may sound so trivial and so small, but how many times do we just take action without actually thinking about how it directly affects us, how we are feeling about those actions and decisions we're making? So that's really what we're tapping into here, is that awareness. Because eventually then what happens is we build in that courage. We get used to working with it to where eventually it's not just building in the courage to say, today I'm going to just not work out and I'm going to go get fast food. You're building in the courage eventually down the line to say, whoa, I didn't feel great when I left that review meeting at work, and I realize I'm worth more. It's not sitting right with me. I'm going to have the courage to take action to address this with my manager or boss. That, I think I have earned more than the little raise I was given. Or, you know what? I realize I need to take action to start looking for another job, because that's just not the interactions I've been feeling good about, and whatever it is, tie it to any aspect of your life. But this is where we start small with tapping into how we feel about things and tying them directly to every little action that we take. And eventually it goes up and up and up to where you're constantly working with an awareness of self. And let's see here. So this is taking a little bit of time to see. Come on, Gemini. Let's see what you need to know about taking action this month. Taking action on your own behalf. What does Gemini need to know? So quiet. I might just pull a card if nothing comes out. This is a really big, kind of bulky deck, so it's a little harder for me to appropriately shuffle like this. But I also get the feeling that there's something that maybe you don't want to take action around. Some aspect of yourself that maybe you need to take action. Oh, interesting. The same exact card came out for Taurus. Geminis, maybe you're dealing with a Taurus. Electric Eel Spirit came out It's number 24, breaking down to a 6. And it says, bring your ideas to life. So now I really am feeling there's this quality. There's something within you that you are really afraid to take action on. And I think it has to do with this negative thinking. So when you're thinking this month about some aspect of self, I do feel that there is an aspect where there is a new idea, or there's a new that as you're tapping into this sweetness and this vulnerable, you're starting to recognize your own beauty. You're starting to recognize really the gem that's inside. Because when you think about an orange, the beauty of the orange is not the exterior. We have to break down that exterior to get to the beautiful fruit that lies within. And that fruit is soft and delicate compared to the tough exterior, but it also contains so many nutrients, and it's so attractive to so many people because it's delicious. And so there is this quality of starting to understand that about yourself, of as you're opening up to curiosity, and that there's some part of yourself that you've been, holding back due to negative thinking, due to a negative thought pattern towards or about yourself, that now you're starting to uncover some beautiful, delicious, enticing aspect of self that also is nutritious, that also can help provide. I almost get this feeling again around communication. So Gemini, that keeps coming up for me when I'm thinking about there's something that you need to communicate, whether this is something where you need to communicate a new idea, or you need to communicate maybe you just need to be vulnerable in communicating what you want to do now, or communicating towards somebody else. That maybe you're realizing some aspect of self, and in doing so, you're realizing your own vulnerability, you're realizing your own delicateness, and maybe this is causing you to want to reach out to another and either make it so strange, but it's just coming up for me, to reach out and make an apology towards them, to offer an apology maybe for something that you hadn't realized because you had kept this exterior, this thick exterior, and you hadn't really delve into that kind of, soft, squishy layer of yourself, and you're realizing, oh my gosh, if I'm this soft and this sweet inside, that other person, I can see it now recognized in another person. It's strange that I'm just getting that kind of that's coming through here. But on a high level, there's this quality in taking action and having that faith to take action, that there is a new idea coming up, that there are ideas that you've been sitting with, and that you've been holding yourself back from communicating. You've been holding yourself back from moving forward on working with them. And right now, you're really being asked to see what those are, to overcome the negative thoughts. So when you're thinking about that question, that opening question is probably going to bring to life. It's going to kind of crack open that egg, peel off those layers, get to your juicy, soft, delicious interior, and it's going to say, it's time. It's okay to be vulnerable because you have love and support around you. Let that love and support come through. Be aware of the love and support around you. Sometimes we have this, and I know, I've experienced this myself, where we build up this thick, tough exterior, thinking that we have to show ourselves as being able to do it all, and not in that. And a lot of times we trick ourselves into believing that people don't want to hear about our struggles, or don't want to see our struggles, or don't want to see the vulnerable aspects of ourselves. And that's actually just like an orange. That's what makes us desirable. That's what actually makes us, what draws people to us. What draws circumstances to us is that when we make ourselves vulnerable and we show the best part of ourselves vulnerably, that suddenly we are able to shine from that place. And that's what people are like, oh my gosh, I want more of that. That's what makes you unique. That's what was hiding under the surface. And it's not that we have to put on this like thick exterior, it's that people want to see your authenticity. And when you hide it behind a thick peel, people oftentimes won't take the time to peel back those layers to see what's behind it. We have to peel back those layers first, and we then have to decide what we share and how we share it with others. And that's what allows our ideas to come to life. That's what allows that part of ourselves that is truly unique, that's hiding in there, to come out and to be seen, and that part of ourselves to engage with our external environment and others. We have to be aware of it first. We have to be aware of our own beauty and deliciousness first. And also what it has to offer. You know, if you were an orange, and I know this is such a funny analogy, but if you were an orange and people come to you and ask you, well, what makes you so special? And you're like, well, first of all, have a little taste of this. And they're like, oh my goodness, you're delicious. But you're also going to tout yourself up. You're going to communicate from that place of, but I'm also really high in vitamin C. And vitamin C is a great antioxidant. I'm also really high in these vitamins and minerals, and I can supply them in higher quantities than some of my other fruit counterparts. And in doing that, you're not going to come across as being cocky or showing off. You're just sharing the best parts of yourself. You're sharing what makes you you. And that's what people respond to. That's the confidence that, but you have to admit it to yourself first. You actually have to get past the negative thinking and admit to yourself first, no, this is a part of myself that I should be proud of. This is what I'm really good at. This is what makes me stand out. And I'm not afraid to share it. I'm not afraid to own it. And that is really what brings ideas to life, because that's what starts to attract people and circumstances towards you that align with you, because you are aware, you are confident in what you bring to the table. Okay, Gemini, now I'm going to pull a card for contemplation. Contemplation is the final principle in the Triad of Engagement. It's very important because this is our seat of staying self-responsible to learning through direct experience, learning from our actions. We get a chance to connect the dots with contemplation between what we were curious about, trying to find some answer to a question that we're asking. We get to then connect that with the action we took. Whoa, that's quite, I'm going to pull these ones here. We get to see the action that we took, and then we get to reflect on what were the consequences of that action. What happened? And how now can I learn from that? And how can I apply what I've learned to continuing to bring this part of myself out and working with this part of myself? It keeps you self-responsible to growth, to awareness, to not getting to that place of stagnation where we're taking the same action, having the same result, and not being aware of it to the point where we get stagnant. And maybe we're making the same mistake that's hurting ourselves over and over and over again, and we're not willing to take self-responsible action to change what's within our control to change, which is ourselves, which is the actions we choose to take. So, Gemini, we have as your final card of contemplation here, Lemuria. And it says, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. I feel like you guys have gotten this card in one of July's readings as well. But this is such a beautiful card. It's a card that really shows that when we take action from a place of self-awareness, even if it means being vulnerable, when we are confident in our own uniqueness and what makes us special, and we are able to communicate that in a healthy and confident way, we start to be able to manifest. We not only are able to bring our ideas to life, we're able to manifest a little version of heaven on earth for ourselves. So I've said in some of my previous readings, and I really do believe this, every single one of us is a singularity. We have our own unique hopes and dreams and needs, and we also have our own unique version of heaven. No two people's version of heaven is ever going to be the same, because we each have our own unique perspective, and there's going to be some aspect of ourselves that is different than everybody else, and that's going to tie into our perspective, our perception of what heaven is. And if we think of heaven as just being tied to our ideal environment, our ideal place where we get to be who we want to be, then in reality, the more you get a chance to communicate from a place of confident authenticity, from a place of confidence in your authenticity, and you're able to stay vulnerable, and you're able to continue to peel back those layers of that orange peel to allow others to be able to see and to taste and to understand your uniqueness, well, that's when you start to then really create heaven on earth for yourself, your vision of heaven. Not another's vision of heaven, but yours, because you'll start to draw people in who also respect what you have to offer. And you'll start to see where this fits into the greater collective experience. You'll start to see where vitamin C, if you're an orange, is needed. And you'll start to see how it's so integral to the overall health of the collective human experience. And I'm just going to keep rolling with this because it's just, again, it's what came to mind. You'll start to realize that if you don't share your vitamin C with others, the whole collective human experience can suffer because everybody could get scurvy. And you're the easiest way to get vitamin C. And so just in being you, just in bringing your sweetness out there, just in you sharing and communicating this aspect of yourself, not from a way that's forced, not from a way that's, coming from a negative thinking of, okay, I'm going to share a little bit, but I'm also going to be defensive and put up, and then I'm going to hide myself. Because imagine if no one showed you how to peel an orange and you never knew what was truly inside. And somebody said, this is a delicious fruit. It has all this nutrition inside, but they didn't actually peel back the layers to show you. And you went to take a bite and you bit into that, pithy exterior. You'd be like, ugh, that's not what I was told was a fruit. I'm not going to keep eating that. Ew. And so that's really the quality here of, you can't hide yourself through negative thinking. You can't try to sell yourself with confidence, to communicate from a place of authenticity if you continue to have your thick layer of protection because you're afraid to surrender to love and support. You're afraid that through negative thinking that if you share this vulnerable part of yourself, it's not going to be loved and supported. It's going to be hurt again, as it has in the past. So this month is all about bringing awareness to opening up to being soft and vulnerable, but also really seeing your self-worth and learning how to take action to communicate its importance, and how to communicate from that place of importance. And that's what's really going to start to unlock this for yourself. And so as you start to unlock that, the point of contemplation is to contemplate on, as you're taking action authentically in communicating yourself, what's starting to change? What's starting to come in for you? What are the little opportunities that you might have missed previously that are just kind of popping up like that? And how is it changing also the dynamics between you and others, and between you and how you see your external environment? Because the more we move away from this negative thought pattern and we move more into true curiosity and what it can open and unlock not only within but around us as well, this is really where we get a chance to step into, well, wow, what is my version of heaven? Like, really, what is my power? What is my ability? What can I create from this place of sharing? And the more vulnerable I am, what will I attract? What will I get a chance to see? And also, that really attracts the vulnerability of others. It allows other people to be vulnerable. Really beautiful reading, Gemini. I think it's very clear. I did Taurus, and Taurus was a little bit like this. Felt like I kind of had to talk my way through it as now I'm a Taurus sun sign, so I get it. I felt like I was almost at odds with myself, even just stating what was coming in. But your message is very clear. It's very clear, it's very beautiful, and it really focuses on just you really being able to break down that defensive layer you've had perhaps for a while, tapping into your own inner beauty, having confidence, getting past the negative thoughts that others might not accept this part or find it as important or necessary or beautiful as you do, and just start communicating from that place of confidence in self. And then open yourself up to what is going to be coming in. Open yourself up to the opportunities that are going to start to present themselves as you communicate from this place of newfound confidence and vulnerability in your own beauty and importance. The world needs vitamin C, Geminis. Don't be afraid to share it. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been illuminating. I hope you continue to watch your other readings as well, because they really are meant to kind of be a holistic look at self-awareness and your importance in connecting your unique self with your external environment. And if you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. If you don't see a service or a reading that speaks specifically to you, you can go ahead and type in the type of reading that you're looking for, and I will tailor your reading to that specific subject or topic. All right. Bye, my beautiful Geminis.